this evening, I just want to share. Um, I have been United Methodist since the time I was conceived in my mother's womb. And I just want to do my own family history and bring you to where I am today. Um, my relatives got off of a slave ship in Annapolis, Maryland as cargo. And we could actually call the State House and they will pull up our manifest. And it is, I, I'm American. I am proud to be an American, and we've been United Methodist forever. The owner of my family's plantation was Methodist, and he went to a camp meeting held by Bishop Coke and Bishop Asbury, who were circuit riders preaching and spreading the word. Following the meeting, he went home and freed his slaves. Therefore, my family actually has been free before the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. My grandfather, several generations ago, was given a parcel of land for the slaves um, to worship and to be a church, a Methodist church. The church still stands, has a wonderful cemetery full of history, and I was actually christened in that church. My roots are American and Methodist. My parents still own a home not far walking distance to this church, and my mom, who is 93 years old, has always been very politically active. Um, My mom in the 60s, mid 60s, was working on voter registration. And one night, my sister, who's about 7 years older than me, who should be here with us, and myself and my mom, we were coming home from shopping. And when we returned home, we had just missed a crossbeam burn in our yard. My dad was standing there waiting for us, and he literally wrapped me in his arms, and he put one hand over my face so I really couldn't see the last embers of the cross, and he walked us into our home safely. And the only thing I can tell you is I am American. We moved without the sale of the house that still stands. We moved to a town, Columbia, Maryland. Columbia was a new planned and still is a wonderful city between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, Maryland. Um, it still revolves around racial equality. Everyone lives together. My uncle and aunt lived in Columbia, and Pastor Bowers was talking earlier about G Corps. My uncle was actually one of the first, because G Corps was started in '68, around that time. And my uncle really was one of the first pastors. And at the for the General Commission on Religion and Race, and he's best friends with Bishop Woody White. And I have some of the people that I met literally, people really did bring people home for Sunday dinners. Just, um, I feel like I have really had an incredibly incredible life as a United Methodist, and especially as a Black United Methodist. Um, Reverend Bishop White, I'm sorry, because that's what I knew him as first. I'm sorry. Bishop White founded Black Methodist for Church Renewal, and my dear mother is a lifetime member. Um, I feel very blessed to be able to share all of this. Anyway, um, I went to college in South Carolina at the University of South Carolina, and I could have had a nervous breakdown because of the shift in my universe. One of the things that astounded me was the Confederate flag that was flying over top of the South Carolina State House in the center of Columbia, South Carolina. It was absolutely unbelievable. I met a nice guy, and he went to law school. I married a lawyer. He's a black male, and at least once every 6 months or so, someone asks me, "Are you married to a black man?" Mainly because he's an attorney. And are you sure your husband's a lawyer? And my favorite one is, my husband's name is John. I thought that John was married to a white woman. Now remember, this is 2020 and America. Um, I arrived in Knoxville over 20 years ago, and my husband is an attorney at TVA. He was strongly recruited because the organization needed some ethnicity. I mention this because regularly people just assume he's a janitor. I most of the people on this call are familiar with Church Street United Methodist Church. And I actually go to Church Street, and I don't believe that I am there by accident. Um, Many people remember Claire Garland. I went to a funeral, gosh, maybe the second or third year John and I arrived in Knoxville. She was coming home from Alabama or somewhere out of town, and she was tired, and she hit a bridge abutment and lost her life. It was the largest funeral. I have never seen Church Street packed like it was. Claire was just a special person. And then we have another infamous member, Phyllis Strange. I went to her daughter's wedding. Um, and I didn't get to really become a member or go to church there maybe until maybe 15 years later. So I had been to a funeral and a wedding, but here I am.